politics served with a drink. Breaking headlines you might miss, wrapped in an ironic twist. They poke fun at all the wise.
Welcome, everyone. It is the 25th of November, and we have all of the craziness coming in for you. If you didn't have that a vice president of a country would take out a contract on the president and their wife, well, then what are you doing? This is 2024. Of course they would. Welcome, Wolfram, and thank you for doing all of your Modly Mod duties. Welcome, Tammy Bogard. And Audio Coffee, Alice G, Penny Williams, DK Cripple, welcome, Publicly Buzzed, and JoJo, and everyone. So our first story, I could not believe this. Welcome, Bama, Green Eyes. But the Philippines VP, I've hired a hitman to unalive the president and his wife. Here's why. I mean, sure, explain your, potentially premeditated unaliving. I'm sure that will make a great addition to your defense attorney's, future case. The vice president of the Philippines has hired a hitman to unalive the country's president, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., and his wife and the Speaker of the House in the event that she is assassinated. Well, I guess this is insurance, though maybe just not being a terrible leader would also be insurance. Describing how she contacted an assassin as a kind of insurance policy for her own protection, Sarah Duterte said, quote, "I've given my order. If I die, don't stop until you've unalived them," end quote. And he said, yes. She insists that this warning is not a joke. Ms. Duterte's brazen public threat signals just how deep the rift has become between the two leaders of the island nation after their landslide election victory in 2022. She is the daughter of the former president, Rodrigo Duterte, or is it... I know I'm mispronouncing that name. I know that the last name is not Duterte. But the story continues. A firebrand politician whose anti-drug crackdown ended in the deaths of thousands of people. The International Crime Court is investigating whether those actions amount to possible crimes against humanity. Mr. Marcos Jr. is the son of late Philippine dictator Ferdinand Marcos, who ruled the country under martial law before being overthrown in a popular uprising in 1986. So neither of these people come from really great backgrounds. Awesome. After making a pact to win the election, the pair had a serious falling out over disagreements in policy approaches, including how Manila should handle Chinese territorial aggression in international waters of the South China Sea. Yes, Duterte. Look, I am going full Midwestern Sada Ranch. I am going to butcher this name, unfortunately. The Philippine Presidential Security Command said that it considered the vice president's threats a matter of national security. Well, goodoy. I feel like I shouldn't have to say, duh. But yes, this would probably be a threat if your VP has taken out insurance, counter hit measures in case she's unalived. This may be a scotch, just a tiny insy bit of a security issue, and immediately boosted its security for Mr. Marcos Jr. The security force said it was coordinating with law enforcement agencies to detect, deter, and defend against any and all threats to the president and first lady. The vice president has also opposed Mr. Marcos Jr.'s wife, Liza Antreo Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez, alleging corruption, incompetence, and political persecution of her family and their allies. Her assassination threat comes shortly after Zucila Lopez, her chief of staff, was detained by Mr. Marcos Jr.'s allies in the House. Ms. Lopez is being accused of impending a congressional inquiry into whether she misused the budget in her prior post as vice president and education secretary. The dramatic political spat has prompted Romeo Bronner, the Philippine military chief, to assure the country's armed forces remain nonpartisan and retained, quote, utmost respect for our democratic institutions and civilian authority. We call for calm and resolve, Mr. Bronner said. We reiterate our need to stand together against those who will break our bonds as Filipinos. Well, I mean, seems like things have taken a left turn into dumpster fire. I don't know what you do with a country that basically has the vice president and the president who both have, prior, let's say, political dynasties or dictatorial dynasty backgrounds, and how these two got elected if both of the leaders were ousted in, I'm guessing, not too peaceful ways. I can't imagine how these two got elected with their baggage, their former political baggage. But now they're to the point where they're doing, threats and counter threats. This is crazy. I will keep up to date with this. I am in no way I am in no way educated in the politics or a lot of the history of the Philippines. So I am coming at this from just an outside Midwest perspective, and this just doesn't look so good. But it would be a kick-ass Red Dawn too. I'm just saying, Hollywood, don't do this because you'd screw it up. Well, turns out it was a rock and not a plane. Image believed to show Amelia Earhart's plane was a rock formation and not a crash site, the company says. I mean, it does look kind of like a plane. I'll give them that. I mean, it's just like those ultrasound scans. Some people can see the baby, and some people are like, that's a real nice kidney you have there. The company behind a search for pilot Amelia Earhart's possible crash site in the Pacific said a sonar image believed to resemble her plane turned out to be the seafloor's normal shapes. Marine robotics firm Deep Sea Vision said earlier this month on its social media account that imagery from the underwater drone deployed during the expedition turned out to show a natural rock formation. After 11 months, the waiting has finally ended, and unfortunately our target was not Amelia Earhart's, plane, it said in a November 6th post, referring to her twin-engine Lockheed 10E Electra. The company based in Charleston, South Carolina, did not immediately respond to a request for more information about its conclusion. So here's what they saw on top radar, and then this is what they saw when they got down there. So it does look plane-like, I'm not going to lie. But it also looks like one of those Rorschach tests where I'm supposed to say it looks like something and I'm like, it's a blob. Because I'm too afraid to say what it looks like to me, because then I'm like, they're going to think I'm crazy. The sonar image of what appeared to be a cross-shaped object, not unlike an aircraft, sparked excitement when the company announced in January that Earhart's plane was, quote, believed to be found. Maybe don't, hype things up when you don't know if you actually have the airplane. Mama Mo tip number 11-12. The image was taken about 100 miles from Howland Island, halfway between Australia and Hawaii, and was part of Earhart's 1937 itinerary as she attempted to become the first woman in the pilot's seat to circumnavigate the globe. Earhart and her navigator Fred Noonan were expected to refuel on Howland in July 1937, but never arrived. Both were declared dead 2 years later despite a failure to locate the remains or a crash site. Deep Sea Vision and its CEO, Tony Romeo, did some navigational math and came up with a possible area for the crash site, sending marine archaeologists and its Huygen 6000 submersible vehicle to scan the depths of the ocean 1,600 meters at a time, the company said in a statement earlier this year. The company said in January that members of the expedition debated whether to release the sonar image with Deep Sea Vision asserting that the discovery wasn't one for the record books without another expedition and more exacting data, or an outside organization confirming that Deep Sea Vision, had found what they said they were going to find. Its November conclusion found that natural undersea formations came with a bit more humility and humor. Deep Sea Vision's Instagram page also featured a post this month of a branded t-shirt with sonar image that states, quote, "We find rocks." I mean, okay, that's a good way of dealing with it. That's a Mo way of handling stuff. Deep Sea Vision, we find rocks. I mean, that's a cute way of saying, like, we're bad. We kind of, we got all excited. We hyped you up. And we look kind of dumb. We have egg on our face, but why not merchandise it? Which way to grift? Deep Sea Vision, way to grift. I need to remind myself of these grifting ideas. Romeo told CNN that the company hopes to return to the area and continue to search for, the plane. Quote, "In some ways, I'm even more excited about it now. I'm sure his investors aren't, but okay. I'm sure you're super, super duper excited." In an odd twist to this developing story, father of a missing Hawaiian photographer, Hana Kobayashi, found not alive near LAX while searching for his daughter. This case, I didn't want to report on this until we maybe had a conclusion or more data or more information to give you guys. But this case seems to be taking on a life of its own, especially with the father who came to LAX and the LA area and then passed away while searching for her. So I think we're looking at a pretty interesting case. The father of the missing Hawaiian woman who vanished while heading to New York City for a vacation was found no longer alive near LAX early Sunday. Ryan Kobayashi, 58, was in Los Angeles to search for his 30-year-old daughter, Hana Kobayashi, after she missed a connecting flight to New York from Los Angeles International Airport over 2 weeks ago. Police confirmed that Ryan Kobayashi died after he jumped off a... Oh, for goodness sake. It looks like he self-deleted, you guys. After he jumped off a parking structure near LAX sometime around 4 a.m. Sunday, according to NBC Los Angeles. A nonprofit believed to be aiding in the search for Hana also provided a statement on behalf of the family. Quote, "The Kobayashi family endured a devastating tragedy today," wrote the RAD movement. After tirelessly searching through Los Angeles for 13 days, Hana's father, Ryan Kobayashi, tragically took his own life. "This loss has compounded the family's suffering immeasurably," end quote. The nonprofit requested privacy for the grieving family and urged the public to focus for the search for Hana, particularly after this tragic news about her father. The Post has contacted Los Angeles Police Department for comment. On Monday, Kobayashi spoke with KTLA while in the Golden State, hoping to reach his daughter. Quote, "I miss her," he said. "I just want her to know that, and I just want her to reach out, anything," end quote. Hana flew out on November 8th from Maui to Los Angeles, where she was supposed to hop a connecting flight for New York City for a bucket list trip and to visit her aunt. However, she missed that flight 42 minutes later, despite surveillance footage indicating that she had landed at LAX. Her loved ones initially became worried after she sent odd texts to her family and friends before she vanished, including messaging a friend that she, quote, "got tricked into pretty much giving away all my funds," end quote. In another message, she claimed she was supposedly fooled by, quote, "someone I thought I loved," end quote. "Deep hackers wiped my identity, stole my funds, and have me on a mind F since Friday," end quote, another message read. The family previously stated the texts supposedly from Hana were not like her. She mentioned feeling scared and that someone might be trying to steal her money and identity, said her aunt, Lori Pigeon. Strange cryptic messages, things about the Matrix. It was so unlike her, and then all of a sudden, no more communication. Other footage showed Kobayashi at the Grove Shopping Center in Fairfax District of LA on November 9th and 10th, as well as a video of her returning to LAX but not getting on a flight on November 11th before she was seen near the metro station, USA Today reported. Her phone had been off since November 11th, the family said. The family filed a police report with the LAPD, LAX authorities, and the FBI. Hana Kobayashi is 5 feet 10 inches tall and about 140 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes and is fair-skinned with freckles. If you know anything, let the police know. And on another note, I know that this father was dealing with the worst thing that any parent could ever have to deal with. And if you are dealing with something that seems beyond your control, something that you can't deal with, that you're struggling with, please call, 1-800-273-TALK or the crisis line at 741-741. There are people there 24 hours a day that are willing to listen to you. And I know that problems can seem bigger than the entire world, but they are temporary. I mean, some are less temporary than the other, but please, if you are feeling like this, reach out and talk to someone. Sometimes it feels good to vent these things off of our heart and soul and get them off our chest. And these people are here to listen to you. Don't make a permanent choice on a temporary situation. Well, Cher is wondering both her natural name and age, but I digress. Cher says that she was shocked to find out her legal name after a birth certificate mix-up. The music legend remembers telling her mom, "I was only a teenager and I was in a lot of pain," after she discovered the error made by a hospital nurse. Cher made the unexpected discovery when she began the process of legally changing her name. In her new memoir, Cher, the Memoir, Part 1, could you be any more Cher than Cher, the Memoir, Part 1? Cher has 2 daggone memoirs coming out. She's like, look, I've got a first chapter and a second chapter and a third book just about Bob Mackie designs, okay? And her being Cher, I'll allow it. Which was released on November 19th, the 78-year-old music legend who was born Sherilyn Sarkeesian recounts how she applied for a copy of her birth certificate in 1979 and was shocked to see that her first name was registered as Cheryl. Haksua, I am doing great, and I am so glad that you're enjoying the content. I am working on always giving good content out there, or at least looking like I know what I'm doing, which is about a 40-60 chance. More 60 and I don't know, 40 that I do. But that's up from 2080, so there you go. Quote, I believed Sherilyn was my name until the day years later when I decided to legally change my name to simply Cher, she writes, explaining how the mix-up occurred. Back in 1946, when her 13-year-old mother, giblets in handbaskets, 13? Gypsies, tramps, and thieves, they would call us, but every night the men would come around. I'm going to need a conviction to whoever got 13-year-old Cher's mom with child, because holy fazolies, I never knew this. Went into labor a month early at a small hospital in El Centro, California, and had a long unmedicated labor. Quote, she was exhausted by the time I arrived at 7:30 a.m. on Monday, May 20th, Cher writes. I mean, that explained why her mom looks beautiful, and that hair, can we say the hair? Lovely. Although I severely want to say that I am verklempt. Talk amongst yourself. Here's a topic. Barbara and funny man or funny gal. Well, Zach, I mean, there's only so much you can do with gravity and magic and Harry Potter stuff, and God only knows what the rich are doing all the time to whatever they're doing. While her mother was recovering, a nurse visited her room and asked what she planned to name her newborn. Quote, my mom had no idea, but the woman insisted, so she replied, Lana Turner's my favorite actress, and her little girl's called Cheryl. My mom's name is Linda, so how about Sherilyn? End quote. The Believe singer recounts in her memoir. When Cher learned of the birth certificate era, she asked her mother, quote, do you even know my real name, Mom? End quote. She writes that her mother snatched the documents from her hand and simply shrugged. She told her famous daughter, I was only a teenager. I was in a lot of pain. Give me a break. The Grammy Award winner legally changed her name in 1979, shortening her first name to Cher and dropping the 4 surnames she had at the time. Her birth name, Sarkeesian, Lapierre, and the legal name she assumed when her stepfather adopted her in 1961. And Bono and Allman from her marriages to Sonny Bono and Greg Allman. Cher's mother passed away in December 2022 at the age of 96 after being hospitalized for pneumonia that September. The Moonstruck star revealed the sad news on X at the time, simply writing, quote, Mom is gone, end quote. In 2013, Cher opened up to People about what she learned from her mom, explaining that Holt, an actress and musician, never gave the singer and her sister, Georgie Ann, advice because truthfully she knew we'd never take it. She explained, instead, we learned about life by listening to her talk about the things she did wrong and the things she did right. Cher remembered being in awe of her late mother's glamour. Quote, she and her friends were so beautiful. When they walked in a room, everything stopped. She was also an amazing dresser. Well, you inherited that, Cher. Although, I will say, as a Bob Mackie fan, look, Mr. Mackie, if I ever get an Emmy, I swear to goodness, I want you to dress me, but maybe imagine that I don't have Cher's body, okay? So if we could have little panels that are like Spanx to just that stuff in. I'm thinking not so much a headdress in black, but in teal, and bedazzle the hell out of whatever you want, Mr. Mackie. I think he's passed away, but seriously. I if I ever win an Emmy, which would be kind of weird since I don't do anything Emmy worthy, I'm definitely having someone in the vein of Bob Mackie giving me the most ostentatious, ridiculous, Cher-like outfit ever. And Dolly Parton style wig. Honest to goodness, I have often thought that I have the reincarnated soul of Liberace in me. Because if it is loud, ostentatious, and utterly fabulous with rhinestones, I am like, shut up and take my money. The music icon also admitted to being really strong-headed as a child and putting her mom through some trials with wild behavior. Quote, I did a couple things like running away when I was 11. I hopped a train with my friends. I was very adventurous, but never disrespectful. She wouldn't have put up with that. Yeah. So if you want to share the memoir part 1, then there you go. In what I can only imagine would possibly be the highlight of my job as a police officer, Notorious P.I.G. leads animal control officers on a hoof chase in Washington. You guys won't be able to hear this, but this is the video of the pig bamboozling the officers. Run, Wilbur, run! Tell Charlotte, screw off. We're running away from the farm. Babe, that's a good pig. Okay, you can't tell because you can't hear it, but oh my God, the pig is cursing. The pig is cursing. He's like, a porcine perpetrator dubbed the notorious PIG led animal control officers on a chase through Tacoma, Washington neighborhood. The Tacoma Police Department said its animal control unit responded to the east side of the city when a small pig was seen running through a residential neighborhood. Quote, when they arrived, they quickly sized up the situation and sprang into action. The little oinker made them work for their bacon, but in the end, notorious PIG was safely captured and escorted off the streets, the department said on social media. The post included body cam footage of the chase, which featured the pig squealing loudly while attempting to hoof it away from the officers. The pig was not injured and taken to the Rusty Bar branch, or I'm sorry, not ranch in Roy. The female pig, now named Tori. Oh, hell no. She's still the notorious PIG to me. She is like Cher. She is PIG, Madam. But she's now named Tori because apparently they don't understand humor, joined another pig recently rounded up in the city of Auburn. The ranch said in a Facebook post that both pigs were, quote, sentenced to live out the rest of their lives as spoiled residents at the Rusty Bar Ranch. So, I like it. And I'm glad that they get to live, long and peaceful lives at this ranch, possibly making shenanigans for the owners. Well, he'll get out, but it'll be with a broken heart. Lyle Menendez's wife, Rebecca Sneed, announces their separation. Kind of feel bad for Lyle. I mean, he's finally getting a possibility of getting released from prison, and his wife's like, about that marriage thing. As Lyle Menendez awaits his fate in prison, he will be doing so as a single man. The 56-year-old, who has been serving a life sentence alongside his brother Eric Menendez for the 1989 unaliving of their parents, and his wife Rebecca Sneed, are separated after 21 years of marriage, according to a post shared to Facebook by Rebecca. Quote, Lyle and I have been separated for a while, but remain best friends and family. End quote, she wrote on November 22 on her official Facebook page, as verified by the brother's attorney to NBC News. Quote, I will continue to run his Facebook pages with input from him, and I am forever committed to the enduring fight for Lyle and Eric's freedom, as has been so evident over the years, end quote. Rebecca continued, I'll continue to update you on all the progress of the case because I believe we all have the common goal of seeing the guys walk free. I will never stop fighting for them, except being married to him. Her post also confirmed this is not a cheating scandal. E! News reached out to contacts for Rebecca and Lyle, but has not heard back. So there you go. I mean, she's like, wait, I have to live with him? Like, we've had a really good marriage because he doesn't annoy me. He's like in a place where he doesn't bother me. And now she's like, but he's going to leave his towels on the floor if he gets out. I'm not sure I can handle all this. And why must these people tell on themselves all the time? An influencer gets max sentence for trying to PayPal. Yes, PayPal. $60,000 to unalive 3 people, including one rival and an online critic. And she looks like she's beautiful. It looks like she's got, all the influency thing going on. Hell, I don't know how you're an influencer because there is nothing more weird for me than telling people what I do for a living. And I say, like, I have a YouTube channel. I never say influencer because those people are insufferable most of the time. They're like, can I get something free because I'm an influencer? And you're like, how many people do your channels have? 100? No. A Texas influencer who hawked online courses was sentenced to 10 years in prison for trying to pay a friend to unalive 3 people, including a business rival and someone who trashed her on social media. Ashley Grayson, 35, ran a popular internet business from her home in Dallas, touting herself as a bestseller of what? Boobage bits? I mean, I don't know. An 8-figure business coach, course creator, and philanthropist, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Tennessee. In 2022, she contacted a friend in Memphis and asked her to fly to Dallas to discuss, quote, business opportunities, end quote, for the pal and her husband to unalive 3 people for $2,000 per hit, Fox News 4 reported. The 3 included Grayson's ex, as well as a bitter rival who ran a similar online business in Mississippi. She also asked them to unalive a Texas woman who made negative social media posts about her online, prosecutors said. Quote, this was a 21st century crime where online feuds and senseless rivalries bled into the real world, end quote, acting U.S. Attorney Reagan Fronstein said. The defendant tried to hire someone to unalive a woman over things that happened exclusively on the internet. Okay, ladies, explain this one to me. Look, I will admit I spent most of my 20s and most of my 30s too, having children. But when you are in a jumpsuit like that, like you have to take the whole daggone thing. You are practically naked in the bar or wherever you're going on those freaking torture devices called heels. But I mean, how do you feel elegant when you are over here fighting and just all naked with your jumpsuit just a flapping in the wind in the restroom? I don't get it. I don't like jumpsuits. And when I am Empress of the Universe, whoever invented maternity effing overalls is getting a call from me. They must come in front of Congress and explain themselves. Because let me explain to you what happens when you are 7 or 8 months pregnant and trying to use maternity overalls. Generally, the flaps that you have to take off fall into the daggone toilet. It is ridiculous. I cannot. So whoever invented maternity overalls, you will be brought to justice in my America. The Memphis couple pretended to agree to the deal, but instead gave police a video of Grayson saying she would pay them an extra $5,000 to carry out the unaliving of the Mississippi woman within a week. The couple later sent Grayson a video of police lights from an unrelated incident, claiming they tried to carry out the unaliving but got caught. They later met with Grayson and were given $10,000 for their attempt, prosecutors said. Ma'am, do not give money to people for unaliving people from PayPal. Grayson was found guilty of murder for hire and given the maximum sentence of 120 months in prison. She will not be eligible for parole because it is a federal case. Her husband was acquitted of any involvement. In something that my youngest, most feral would do, if I'm honest, Wisconsin 10-year-old calls 911 for help with math homework. I mean, it does seem like something my youngest, most feral would do. A Wisconsin sheriff's deputy came to the rescue of a 10-year-old boy who called 911 to ask for help with math homework. The Shawano County Sheriff's Office said on social media that a dispatcher answered a 911 call for, quote, from a 10-year-old who wanted to say that he needed help doing his math homework, end quote. He stated his family wasn't very good at math either, and he needed help, the Post said. Sheriff George Lesnar said dispatcher Kim Krause explained to the young caller that 911 was not the appropriate number to call for homework help, but she also offered her assistance. She had some time, so she said, "Can I help you with the problem?" And well, he gave this long problem with decimals, and she was unable to help him, so she informed him, "Let me see if I've got a deputy near your residence," Lesnar told Good Morning America. Deputy Sheriff Chase Manson was in the area and agreed to take a look at the math problem. And welcome, Flux Raiders. Quote, personally, I am not overly proficient when it comes to math, but nevertheless, I responded to the assist, Mason wrote in his report about the incident. Mason, who has a stepson the same age as the caller, sat down with the child and was able to solve the decimal-related math problems. The Facebook post said, quote, our young caller was provided with a business card and told that we were always here to help, except next time he should probably use the non-emergency line if it's not a life-threatening situation. And all I can imagine is being his parent, and you get that call back on your cell phone like, did you know that or you get that knock on the door like, it's the popo. And they say, no, your son's just been calling for homework help because apparently you suck out loud at math too. Just the absolute mortification. I would have dug a hole in the backyard and buried myself in shame. But this is such a sweet thing because, of course, a kid would think if I need help, I should call 911. They always say, if you need help, call 911. They should just also specify that it's for life, threatening events, not homework help. And yeah, ask me, I am trying to figure out what a dangling participle is. And as far as I'm concerned, if it's dangling, let it fall off, because I don't know you want anything dangling to be on a sentence. But apparently that was the wrong answer. And of course, me being a smart butt, I say that to Mr. Moe. Youngest most feral repeats that in his class. So I got a call. Remind me not to use sarcasm in front of feral children. In what in the hell is this crap? Controversial fish milk touted as drink option with kids' meals. It tastes just like normal milk. I'm going to take things that are not true for 800, Alex. We're really in uncharted waters. Thank you, John Gary, for gifting 5 memberships. And those went to Haktua, Drexy, Zach, Ezra's Art Atelier, and Ms. Holmes 66. I will write out the tags at the end of this. I find that it really doesn't work with my trying to stay and not be tangenty, but I will write your tickets. They will go in the shadow box for this year. And thank you so much for your support, and welcome to the Church of Mo, new members. We have dark chocolate sarcasm and a deeply ironic look at life, but we're doing okay. The coastal country of Indonesia is milking its abundance of fish to compensate for the drastic cow shortage for programs like school lunches. As local fishermen off the shores of the city of Indranamya haul off loads of pony fish, they are sent twice a day to a factory to be deboned and ground into a fine white protein-filled powder. Hashtag hell all the no. Can we opt for hell all the no? Oh no. No. Stop. This is bad. All the bad. Later, the milk of the sea is brought to another facility for a sugary flavor of either strawberry or chocolate. Strawberry trout, the new sensation. Chocolate salmon. Goo. I mean, In all honesty, all jokes aside, the fact that, the country is taking care of this problem and trying to fix it the best way they can, even, to deal with the cow shortage, I kind of give props to. Now, fish milk might not have been my first guess, but if the kids don't mind it and it's a way to give them protein in a drink, I'm okay. I'm just not sure fish milk is the best idea for a marketing plan. Fittingly, the powder simply needs water added. Of course it does. Quote, it tastes like normal milk, at least to me, said the manager of uh, whatever it is in that language, the milk maker. Bearkin Protein Initiative, which began distribution last year. Local media reports have cast on fishy topic as well as being mulled over by Southeastern Asian nations' school programs in the new year. It's touted there as a good source of protein, and experts hope that fish milk could net a 4.5 billion industry that puts 200,000 people to work. The unorthodox idea of incorporating fish nutrients into everyday life isn't that unique to the area, which is still looking for answers on combating cow shortages. Fish collagen is a typical protein used in the United States for skin care. Throwing out skincare products now. And the European Union employed scientists to work a way of removing chemicals that cause salmon protein powder's pungent marine smell last year. Ramus Ree, a researcher with the EU-funded research institute Norse, said what Indonesia is fishing for is something that would be useful and hopefully economically viable. Drinkers of milk have also not expressed an intolerance for its taste. A 23-year-old named Rosada, or Rejashta, even proclaimed that it was delicious after having the beverage on 3 occasions. However, some nutrient experts are sour on the concept for reasons related to ultra-processing, as it is mixed with sugar and artificial sweetening. Locally, the Jakarta Post also called fish milk, quote, more of a political distraction than a meaningful nutrient intervention. Yeah, I mean, this is your advertising. Why would you put the fish face in there? I don't want to know. Even Indonesian Health Minister Budi Gunadi Sadiqini believes there are other ways to manage the bovine scarcity. We can go grow cows, or we can import milk from Australia, or we can buy an Australian cow company or milk company, he told the Journal. There are many, many, many options to take before we are milking the fish. I'm kind of with this guy. I mean, I'm really kind of like totally with this guy on this point. And if you would like to know where you can find the most expensive cranberry sauce this Thanksgiving, well, of course it's in New York. And this New York steakhouse is charging $195 for a little dribble. Marianne, the article didn't get into that. I can look that up. But it might be due to land scarcity or something else. There might have been, an outbreak in local cows. I will try to look that up, but I am not quite sure. And the article did not say. Well, thus far, it just looks like normal you making cranberry sauce, so why is it almost 200 daggone dollars? Pimp My Side. New York foodies with money to burn are transferring from the gravy train to cranberry carriage this Thanksgiving, stopping at Old Homestead Steakhouse in Manhattan's Tony meatpacking district to sample what is being called the world's most expensive sauce, which costs an arm and a turkey leg at nearly $200 a dollop. The Tony topper is laced with gold, truffles, and other upmarket accoutrements, and the absurdity And the absurdity is the point, said Greg Sherry, who runs the storied 150-year-old steakhouse with his brother Mark. Quote, every year we try to do something different, a little more extravagant, the razzle-dazzle giving restaurateur told the Post. The palates of American people are changing. There's a large percentage of people that now like to go extraordinaire, and we try to provide that. He should have said, just go full share. In 2019, the Prime Meat Paradise notably served a $180,000 Caligula-worthy Thanksgiving spread that featured gilded gobblers and gravy infused with a $3,650 bottle of Louis the 13th cognac. I love when I have to look at Roman numerals and I'm like, what does that little letter mean? And then I had to remember X means 10. They also offered the world's most expensive wings on Super Bowl Sunday, a dozen slathered in foie gras, caviar, and again the Louis XIII and cognac-infused cream for $4,900. This year, it's the Tart Holiday Sweets that gets the heavy lifting, starting with Sherry's late grandmother's cranberry sauce recipe, which is then elevated by the addition of 1,500 per pound white truffles and the ubiquitous 24-karat edible gold flakes and sought after Manuka honey from New Zealand. Why? I have only 8 questions, which are why and why. And also why. And then who the hell is paying for this? I mean, if someone pays for this expensive BS, please come to the front of the congregation. I would like you to explain this to me. Now, if that wasn't ritzy enough, the crimson condiment is then infused with a 4,400 bottle of Taylor Fladgate Sayon Vintage Port, essentially putting the sauce in the sauce. It was a tradition to my brother Mark and my family to have our special cranberries on the holidays, Sherry said of his beloved relative's table staple, a tradition he notes dates back 50 years. Sue passed away a couple years ago, and Mark and I were sitting around and said, you know what? Let it out of the box, and we're letting it out of the box right now. The revamped version runs $195 for a single dollop, far more than any of the other so-called upscale entrees, like the ritzy $16 per pint sauce offered by the pricey Upper East Side grocer Eli Zabar this year. For anyone hoping to splash out, time is a factor. The gold-plated garnish only graced the Old Homestead menu on Thanksgiving Day. The rest of the special November 28th menu is comparatively minimalist. $85 for roast turkey dinner with all the trimmings, including cranberry, sans the high carrot inclusions, or $105 to add filet mignon. The special sauce will only be available on request. Why not? Of course. Just add all the gold flakes and ridiculousness to it, and people will buy it because people are strange. Sherry acknowledges that the astonishing accompaniment won't be on every table. No, I don't expect a lot of people, he confided. I expect the gourmet people that are looking for something over the top to have it. It's not how many we serve. It's doing it the right way to make sure what we do is accepted by the customer, and he walks out saying, you know what, it was a lot of money, but it's worth it. Yes, the Pilgrims were like, we added gold flakes to it. And the Native Americans were like, the hell, you guys are starving. Why are you adding gold to stuff that we're trying to show you? Makes a lot of sense, Snert, when you think about it. Well, let's hope, but I'm guessing they probably have their own gold supply. And there you have it. those are the stories for Nightly Newsy News tonight. A couple of housekeeping things. So tomorrow I will have Mornings with Mo, and then at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, I will be going over the first episode in the docu-series about the John Benet Ramsey case that is on Netflix. I am more than halfway through. I have 20 minutes to go, and special thanks to Mr. Mo for getting me this software that lets me dictate notes and then it writes it down by magic. I think it's called Dragonfire, but don't quote me on that. But it is great to be able to type notes without having to type them, and I am on 10 pages of notes already because I just take a lot of notes to kind of help me get my thoughts in order. I will say that thus far into the episode, I don't know what the producers want me to think, and I think that is a plus. Now, have they given us any sort of shocking new evidence in the first episode from what I've seen? No, but on a lot of these kind of docudramas or, Dateline specials, all these things, you tend to know what the producer wants you to think. They show evidence, that they really want to have you believe. They have a viewpoint and they want you to agree with them. What I will say from this first episode is that you are getting many, many perspectives. I have had to redo notes because they add a bunch of people kind of voice overed, but I will say that you're getting a large amount of viewpoints, at least in this first episode. So I will give you my thoughts. I will go over that first episode tomorrow, and then I will try to wrap up the second episode on Wednesday. I might have to pre-record it, and then the third episode the next day or probably Friday, because I'm not doing that Black Friday thing. That would be a hell no from Mo. It's too peoply, it's too aggressive-y, and the sales, meh. That's just my perspective. If you are out there gearing up for Black Friday, your family has the matching t-shirts, then I wish you all the luck on that. My mom and I used to do that religiously. I used to joke that she's aggressive and I'm passive aggressive, so I just hold the line. So she would go out and do all like the shuffling to get the good stuff, and I would just wait in line, which I was kind of okay with. And then we always got donuts. That's how she bribed us to go out with her. So I'm there for the donuts. I will say, if you are, doing Black Friday, I wish you luck. It is no longer my jam, and I am happy to not do it anymore. The internet, though, I am there with bells on. I can do everything from my couch. This is an introvert's dream. The only reason I don't get Walmart delivers is I think that as a comfy introvert, I would become more Ted Kaczynski-like because I would never leave my house if I didn't have to grocery shop. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Nightly Newsy News. I know it has been hit or miss. Fall and winter are hard on me, and doing the long trial days, I just have no more left in me. But I hope that you guys have a great day. I will see you in the morning, and have a lovely time this evening. Let me see if anyone is live, so I can send you on over to them. We have Uncivil Law. We have Hella or EU. Unless you'd like the Adam Krigler show or Carolyn Boroshenko, which are people that I sub to that aren't really in this general sphere. So I am going to send you over to Hella. She is doing a critique on the Reed technique and the interrogation of Daniel Holtzclaw, part 1. So that should be interesting. I know that a lot of people have questions about the read technique since the Delphi trial, so her looking into that. So I would say that with the, I want to say dragon speech, it's a special kind of software. I have noticed that it is very good, but you do have to say like period, and then you have to, basically it will give you lines to speak, so it learns your diction, and you have to be very considerate of when you have like a change of thought in your sentence to go back and delete what maybe you were gonna say but then stop saying. So it's pretty good. I will say that it's been fairly accurate and easy to get my thoughts down with it. Now, whether my grammar is all the way there, Zach, that's a no. No, it's not. I am a grammar outlaw, whether speaking or typing. Bye, you guys. Have a great evening, and tell Hella I sent you. I am going back to listening to this episode and taking more notes. Bye, you guys.